Hi, BookTube. It's Jackie from Jackie's Literary Corner. And I am off this weekend unless work couldn't usually call me because I think they call me because I'm like 5 minutes away, so I can easily get to my job. But I found out yesterday that my friend slash coworker Virginia is because her other job gave her some had her gave her some time off. She is because she needs the money. I know that she's like making sure that she um gets, takes advantage and offers to work for Harry Steeder, like come in even if she's off. So I know that she said that she's volunteered for the cart duty, cleaning the cart. So that means that hopefully they won't call me this weekend. Fortunately, I feel like I will have to say yes if they do. Knock on wood if they don't. But because I'm having a whole week off, I have managed to forget to mention to them that I'm not going to the convention after all. And Terry's not coming to visit after all, sadly. But anyway, I said these are currently the books I started reading today. So I feel like I'm probably not gonna. I mean, I might be able to get one of these two done by the end of the month, but I don't think I'm gonna get any other more than 4 at the most books read by the end of this month. Which I know it's not. It's not about quality. It's about. I mean, it's not about quantity. It's about quality of what you read. As long as you are enjoying your reading, who cares how many books you read during the month? And I'm not complaining. I'm just, yes, I'm bringing it up, but it's not like, oh dear God, I have to get a book done. I mean, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I realize it's not the end of the world if I don't get. It's just I was doing so good, and I was like on a roll and reading so many books in a month. I think that's what BookTube does to people. We get competitive. And we get excited when we accomplish and read so many books in a month. Like not all booktubers. I feel like a lot of booktubers feel that way. I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm the only one that can sometimes get a little like disappointed if they only read like a few books in a month. But I also love TV and shows, and the reason why I haven't read that much this month is because I'm obsessed with the new Charmed, the Charmed reboot. I just love it. I'm still addicted to it, and because right now we're not going to get the new season until January 2021, and it's just summer just started in 2020. Summer of 2020 has just started, so we still got a while to go. But so I've been basically settling for watching like videos from the show, like clips and stuff, and watching my favorite ship sail and watching the moment that they got together, finally. And then, watching all the fan-made music videos and stuff like that. And then because I used to write fan fiction back in the day when I was still a big fan of Once Upon a Time, and so now I just write some random, what I call domestic scenes, like the cute scenes, the scenes that are in between the not so exciting, thrilling scenes where they're fighting demons and monsters and whatnot, because I feel like that's in my opinion anyway, that's the easiest scene for me to write. Like, it has its own problems, of course, like making sure there's an interesting dynamic, and that if it involves intimacy, it looks good and it's not awkward or weird or too much. And, how someone says something and not making it boring, and having characters, remembering to make sure characters, when people, not every, like, making sure they're doing stuff when they're talking, because people don't just sit there. I mean, sometimes they do, but they don't always just sit there, especially women, and sit there and just talk. We're always doing something. We're either, getting all fidgety, or we get distracted by some noise or something, or like we're doing something else to make sure we're multitasking to make sure we, thinking, oh, well, I could be doing this while having this conversation. Like, for instance, I don't like talking on the phone that much because I'm thinking, oh, I could be doing this, or I could be surfing the internet, or I could be, watching this show or this movie, or if I'm trying to write, I could be working on writing. So, which is, and when you're on the phone, you want to devote all of your attention to whoever you're talking to on the phone, because then if you're trying to do something like surf on the internet, watch TV, then you get sidetracked a little bit. And the point of a phone conversation is to focus on the person on the other end of the line. So we're always constantly multitasking, you know, and I don't remember why I brought that up. Why was I talking about that? Okay, I was talking about the new Charmed. Oh yeah, right. I also mentioned that I'm writing little fan fiction scenes. Oh yeah, I was writing the fan fiction scenes, and you know, and like I said, the hard part is making the conversation interesting. And like I said, I'm inexperienced about intimacy stuff, so I'm still, you know, learning, and I'm a little gun shy after I had a little too much fun when I wrote an intimate scene between one of my favorite couples on Once Upon a Time, and it still embarrasses me to this day. But now I'm getting better. I feel like I'm trying to get better, although it's not that I write those kinds of scenes regularly. In fact, I am gun shy in general, just writing fan fiction, because I'm like, do I really know these characters? And am I just inserting myself into the characters and not coming, you know, or like, are people going to find this interesting? And, you know, that's why it's just for me. Like, I keep thinking that I mentioned in passing to Terry that I was working on that. And now I keep thinking, what if she wants to see it? She's going to ask, can I see it? So I'll probably end up telling, if she does, I'll probably end up telling her, no, this is just for me. I don't want to share it. And of course she'll be disappointed, but I mean, this is for me. It's something for me to do so I can, because, you know, I need my fix of the show, and I like to imagine, you know, especially with my favorite couple, like all these cutesy little scenes that you know, it's going to be a little while before we get them. And I don't know what's going to happen, because the show kind of, with the faux finale we got for season 2 is like, it ended on a cliffhanger, at least for the couple. Like, they, you know, I mean, for the whole thing, it ended on a cliffhanger. We don't know what's going to happen, because, I mean, unfortunately, I had to stop filming, so they only got up to episode 19. So that wasn't, and it didn't really feel like a finale. They ended on a cliffhanger, but it didn't. And I'm so glad that it didn't get canceled, because then that would suck if that's how it ended. Because even if, I can use my own imagination, I even tell, like, that's all I'll tell Terry, if she's disappointed how things turn out for characters, then I'm like, you can use your own imagination. Or if there's things that she wants in books that she doesn't get, like certain types of romances, then I'm like, just use your own imagination or write your own. But at the same time, I get that you want to see it on the screen yourself. And it would have been very disappointing if the show had ended there, because, like, yeah, they get together in the episode right before it, they finally get together, but then it does not end on a positive note for the couple. And also, we wouldn't get what would happen with the current antagonist, and I'm still wondering if there's one character that seems like they're kind of running the whole, and what the antagonists are doing. It's like, are they really a bad guy or not? If you watch the show, you know, I'm assuming you know who I'm talking about, if you happen to be one of my subscribers that actually watches the new Charmed. But yeah, I've mostly been focused on that, so I haven't got a lot of reading done, but I am working my way through my reread of Jane Eyre. I'm at the point where Blanche Ingram and the little party arrive, and Jane has realized that she's in love with Rochester, but she's like, oh, he can never love me, and he's marrying Blanche. She's resigned herself to that fact that he's marrying Blanche, but she also can tell, I think, that he does not love Blanche. Like, Blanche does not charm him. Which, I don't know, maybe this comes from being a modern 21st century young woman, but Blanche seems like such an old lady name. I always associate with the woman on not Gilmore Girls. I'm thinking about Gilmore Girls because of this book. But, in Golden Girls, same alliteration. So that's probably also why I get the names confused. On Golden Girls, one of the main women is named Blanche. So I always think of, in fact, I think she's the one that's, she's kind of the one that's kind of the diva among the ladies in the group, in their little group. Like, she kind of reminds me of an older version of Samantha on Sex and the City. Like, that's who Samantha would become as an old lady. But, Yeah, her name is Blanche. So every time I hear Blanche, that's who I think of. Or Blanche Dubois. I think there's a famous actress called Blanche Dubois. Whenever I hear that, it's like it's not a good name for a young girl, for a young woman. But anyway, so yeah, I'm at that scene, and I just finished reading the scene where Rochester he decides to disguise himself as a gypsy woman and talk to each of the guests, and basically, I am so like on the one hand, I think you're a manipulative bastard manipulating these women's feelings, and but at the same time, I'm like, you clever bastard, you are the like I have such mixed feelings about the guy. Like on the one hand, I want to punch him in the face. On the other hand, I'm like, you are just a sneaky bastard, you know. But all the other, there's one common thing: he's a bastard either way. And but yeah, he basically disguised himself as a gypsy to like try to figure out, try to secretly find a way to get his message across to both Blanche and Jane. Like, basically telling, I mean, we don't get the scene, but you get the impression that he basically implied to Blanche that she was not going to marry, although I think he just explained to her Jane, but as in his disguise, kind of hinted at what he said to her, but to Blanche. But he's like, it's basically the impression I get is that he's probably tells her that it's not gonna happen. You need to set your sights on someone else, and he's basically trying to get Jane to admit her feelings for Rochester, because at this point I think he knows or he wants her to be in love with him. I'm pretty sure he knows that she has feelings for him, that she's fallen in love with him, because like the scene when they first get back, when Rochester and all of his friends, Blanche and all of them, get back, and he's like, I want Jane to bring Adele and hang out with us, or at least just sit there and chaperone Adele, and she eventually leaves, and he like approaches her and like, why didn't you say hello to me, and blah, talks to her, and then he sees that she is a little emotional and she's trying to keep her emotions in check, and so he's trying, he sees that she looks a little upset, that she's gonna get upset, and she's like, oh, I'm fine, I'm not upset, trying to be all cool and stuff. So I think he kind of realizing he's getting what he wants, he's getting the reaction he wants from her, and that's why I think he's manipulative bastard. But I mean, at the same time, I kind of get why he's going with that route, because it's like she's so young and inexperienced, and she's never really been in love before, and she didn't get a lot of love in her life. She's only lived at her Aunt Reed's house, and she's lived at Lowood School, so she hasn't really interacted with and she's very little interaction with males. The one male in her life is her cousin, who bullies her, and she hates him. So it's like, and then she interacts with the servants at Rochester's home and at Thornfield Hall. So she doesn't have a lot of life experience. So I guess because he wants her to be completely devoted and completely in love with him. So it's like, and a lot of times the jealousy thing works, or at least from what I've seen. It makes people realize what they could lose. I mean, probably not always. I mean, but like they make it look like it always works in TV and movies. But it's an easy way to see, because it's very human nature to feel jealous, to feel envy. It's one of the 7 deadly sins, if and it's very human. So it's like it's easy to feel that way when you realize that like someone you love, you could lose them. So it's like it makes you realize that you need to grab onto this person, not let them go, not lose them. And like in this book, you see it on Charmed. There's an example all through season 2. They're playing my couple is basically playing the jealous game. They're both flirting with different people, and it's like, oh my god, you two just talk, just tell each other how you feel. But that's a whole nother mess of a story. Like I was just thinking, and I also was just thinking about Buffy and how first like Buffy's friend Willow's been in love with Xander since they were kids, and since she was old enough to feel love, that kind of love, romantic love, and he's But then it's not until she is with someone else, someone is looking at her, and she's dressing more confident, dressing more like a woman, and she's with someone else, that he realizes he's gonna lose. Xander realizes he could lose Willow, and she won't be devoted to him anymore. And I think that's when he realizes his feelings. But I mean, my personal opinion on that situation, though, is because he only, has these feelings because he realizes he could lose her forever. She might be with someone else. Which I think is why a lot of these people, especially like in YA, they use the love triangle. Because, being, like I said, being jealous or being envious it's a good motivator to make you do something stupid, or to make you, act upon your feelings for someone. And it's an easy way to create drama in a story. When there's a rivalry between two men or two women for the same person. And I was just like thinking of like there's Music Sound of Music, there was a little bit of it. In Vampire Diaries. I'm trying to think of books that have that. I mean, it's so easy for me to think of TV shows and movies that have that. But it's like I mean there are a lot of examples. Like in the Grisha trilogy, Mal takes complete granted of Alina, and then all of a sudden she is revealed to have these powers. She's revealed to be a sun summoner, and she's taken to the little palace, and the Darkling shows interest in her because he thinks she could be his equal, his partner, and he could control her, manipulate her. So, and then there's Nikolai, who thinks it's a good, in the second book, Nikolai thinks it's a good political move. So, Mal realizes he could lose Alina, and it makes him see the light, no pun intended, about, Alina realizes, oh, I could lose her forever, she'll be a part of this world and I'll be abandoned. And he's not used to that, because he was, like, the way they talked about in the beginning, he's seen as the cool guy, he's awesome and everybody loves him, and of course, yes, to a lot of people, it probably turns him into a douchebag in this, later on, because he struggles with accepting her powers and doesn't really, and he feels like it changes her, and in a way he's not so sure how he feels about it, and he's afraid of losing her, to this power, into this world that the Darkling runs, but, so that's where I am with Jane Eyre, and right now she just got, Mr. Mason shows up, and something weird has just happened, and Jane is helping Rochester deal with that, and he's trying to make sure his other guests do not know about it. And Jane, she already has some understanding about something's going on, something weird is going on, so she has some understanding, so he's, like, relying on her to help him, because she already kind of knows. She doesn't know all the details, obviously, but she knows enough that he knows he can trust her, and that she won't say anything. Oh, and also, Blanche is even more of a bitch in the book. Like, there's a scene where they're playing charades, which is done a little differently in the book. Like, because in the book they have teams, because there are so many guests, and they all do this one big elaborate scene, the two teams, and then the other team has to guess. So it's a little, like, it's not the kind of charades that I'm used to, but I bet it's fun, though. And, like, first, Rochester asked if she wants to play, and she declined. Jane asked Jane if she wants to play, but she declined, so I'll just watch. And then I think it's Mr. Eschin, I cannot say that name, who asked her, or the Colonel Dent, one of the gentlemen asked her, and then Blanda's like, oh, she's too stupid to play. She won't know how to play. She's too stupid. And it's like, bitch. It doesn't mean she is not stupid. No, she's not playing it because people, the people she associates with wouldn't play charades, but that doesn't make them stupid. It just makes them that they never played. Because it's a game that you rich people play. But she is such, oh my god, I want to slap, there's sometimes I just want to slap her. Cannot stand Blanche. So anyway, I am also currently, I decided because I've been wanting to read this and I knew I could get through it quickly, and I got it for not too bad of a price on, I got it at the Roast Office bookshop before, like, earlier this year before all this pandemic crap started. Talking as fast as I can, it's Lauren Graham's memoir, and Lauren Graham is the actress on, she started on Gilmore Girls, and a lot of today's TV viewers know her as a character on Parenthood, and she's also, like, she was played, Steve Carell's wife in Evan Almighty. I think she's done a couple other where she's played a wife and mother. Bad Santa. I remember she played love interest for Billy Bob Thornton's character in Bad Santa. And I think a lot of times she really has played quite a few mom type characters. I think Lorelai was her most interesting momish role. But, it's very interesting, very humorous so far. I read the first, like, I want to say six sections. So I feel like with these kinds of stories you can get through really quickly. Like, because it's the way the person writing the memoir writes. So I've read, the introduction, I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I read the first 5, although I guess 6, including the introduction to the first 5 sections. Wait, I almost counted that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really? I read 5? I read 6. So I guess I should have read, if I wanted to keep on my little streak, I should have read before my REI card. But anyway, it first talks about her early years. She's lived in quite a few places. She even lived on a houseboat once with her dad. Her mom did a little bit of TV, but then I guess her parents got a divorce or something. And it's all of her experience in acting, before she got Gilmore Girls. And she talks about, of course, that, and she talks about how everybody, how, like, you shouldn't rely on diet books, and there's no wrong or right way to do it, to lose weight, to get healthy. You just, like, don't eat as much unhealthy crap, and just exercise. Like, everybody, and of course people in Hollywood have trainers and stuff to encourage them. And then she got to the, when she got Gilmore Girls, casting Gilmore Girls, and she talked about how she loved everybody on, she had to go, loved everybody on the set, and her experiences, and, on the set, and just, and I think right before she got the role, she was doing another show, and she talks about how scary it kind of is anticipating what's going to happen next, if a show's going to get picked up, if it's going to get canceled or not. And and of course I was thinking about Charmed, actually, the reboot, and just thinking about how it was I wonder how nerve-wracking it was for, when they did the first season, and then being like, oh, are we going to get a second season? And then I imagine it's still a little bit nerve-wracking not knowing if the show was going to be renewed or not for a third season, and just waiting. I feel like it's not until probably season 4, probably, when you get comfortable enough and feel safe. Well, although even then it might, because, both Angel and The Magicians only got 5 seasons. These actors could have let their. I'm doing just a guess estimate that maybe by season 4 you might get comfortable enough that you don't have to worry. You don't worry as much. You might still get nervous that the show might be canceled, but so far this is so interesting to read about. Like, even if I don't watch everything that they've done, it's still very interesting to read about their lives and their careers, especially, because I've seen some of Lauren Graham's parts beyond Gilmore Girls. But I only have really seen Gilmore Girls. I only know that show, and I don't know if I would like, because with contemporary stuff, which is what Parenthood is about, contemporary life. I have to be in the right mood to get into it to really enjoy it. Like, I started watching Shameless because of Cameron Monaghan, and then I also like what's her name? Emmy Rossum too. I like her too. I started watching it, but then I eventually lost interest. It's still a good show, by the way. That's a really good show. Very interesting. A lot of graphic sex scenes, and it has a lot of vulgar language. It's about these very poor people with a very poor family with a dad who's just the head of the family, who's just an alcoholic and a bum. He's just this woman and his oldest daughter is kind of forced to take care of all of her younger siblings. The mom is a drug addict, and she does come back into their life at one point. This is a really dysfunctional family, but it's still really good, and I think very relatable. I think sadly, there are probably a lot of people that could relate to that show. But, again, like I said, I kind of have to be in the right mood, and I haven't watched season 3 yet. Or I think I've started season 3, but I haven't continued it, because with contemporary drama, I feel like I have to be in that right place to enjoy it. You have to get me when I'm in the right mood to get me to watch a contemporary drama. But anyway, so this really, again, it's just really interesting to read about Lauren Graham and her career, and just read all the struggles that, people have to deal with to get, especially women. Like, I was thinking about the whole Me Too movement when I read the part when there was an audition that she and these other group of girls had, where they were auditioning for, I think it was a play, and it's basically a husband and wife. The husband gets caught having a clandestine affair with a French woman, a French maid or something, and there's a scene where they get caught, and you only see the back of her, on the back of the woman. So Lauren Graham and all these other actresses had to go up there and show their butts. They had to moon the director. And, Lauren at the time, and she talked about how at the time she felt like she had to do whatever she had to do. She had to, she didn't know that she could limit herself to things that the things that only she was comfortable with. She felt like she had to do cross whatever lines to get the parts that she wanted. That she couldn't just say no to things that she wasn't comfortable with. And I imagine a lot of women feel that way sometimes, where, like, if they want to be successful in the business, they have to do whatever they have to do. Like, even if they're not comfortable with it, even if it's putting them in this position that they should have to be put in, like revealing themselves, or like with the whole Me Too movement, a lot of these women had to do something for a male, like Harvey Weinstein, to get the part. It's really sad and very disturbing that these women had to go through all that just to succeed in the business. It's not fair that women have to work so hard to the point of making themselves uncomfortable just to succeed in the business of Hollywood. That men don't have to do that, but women have to do that. I mean, great. I don't know. Maybe there are some men that have had to do that, but anyway. So this is like I said, this is very enlightening and very interesting. And if you're you watch Gilmore Girls or Parenthood, I think you would definitely enjoy this. Reading about unless you don't watch either one of those shows for Lauren Graham. If you don't watch it, if you don't care about her, then maybe this won't interest you. But if you are a fan of her and her work, then check this out. I feel like it's a very fast read. Like I said, I got through the first 5 chapters, and by the way, she looks so much like both her parents. It's always so weird and surreal to me when I look at a picture of someone, a famous person, and then see them with their parents, and like they really look exactly like them. Like another example. Do I have that over here? Do I have it? I mean, don't fall, don't fall. Another example of this is Joe Hill, if you are familiar. He is the son of Stephen King, and look, there is his picture, and look, see, he looks exactly like his dad. I mean, it's so weird. He looks exactly like him, and he writes like him too. At least that's the impression I get with this particular one. I haven't read any of his other work. I did try reading Heart-Shaped Box, but at the time I just wasn't feeling it. By the way, I already got water on this, so now this part is all bulky now, right here on this. Look at how frayed the white. It's kind of annoying, but it's my own fault, so I was the one who made the mistake of letting it get wet. But yeah, it's funny how sometimes you look at these pictures and see how much these people look like their parents. Okay, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 more sections to go. So I'll probably read some more tonight. Read a couple more chapters tonight before I go to bed. So I probably will get this one done, which is good. I want to read more nonfiction, so it'll be good that that I've read a nonfiction. You know, that the 4th book that I read this month will be nonfiction. I still need to read the John Adams book because it's my brother-in-law's book, so eventually I need to get it back to him. Although at this point there's no rush because I mean, not just because every time I brought it up, Ryan is like, "Oh, don't worry, I don't want to read it right now," but it's probably one of those things where it's out of sight, out of mind, so he's probably forgot that I have it until I bring it up. But I don't know when I'll finally be able to see them. I mean, hopefully this pandemic will end. Like, we'll get a vaccine for this whole virus by next year, so that eventually I can go. I can go see her. I mean, it's so funny that I canceled. I'm not going to the convention. We canceled our convention visit and Terry's visit because of this pandemic. And I was like, oh, the silver lining is I get to go to Virginia after all. And then it's like I realized, wait, I won't be able to go to Virginia because this pandemic is not going to be done. We will not have a vaccine to make sure it doesn't happen again until probably next year. But it's just, so it's like, yeah, it got canceled. My trip to, Terry's visit and my trip our trip to the convention gets canceled, yet I still cannot go to Virginia. But, I mean, that's okay though. Because, it's not the end of the world it's more upsetting that I still can't see my sister and see my new niece or nephew. That's more upsetting to me than, I mean, Terry, if you do happen to watch this video, if you decide to click to watch it out of sheer boredom, it's not that I'm not sad, that I am disappointed that we won't get to see each other, but there's nothing I can do about it, so there's no point in getting upset and crying over spilled milk, as they say. But, I have been wanting, but this is, at the same time, though, Jesse's my family. I want to see my either niece or nephew, which I think we're all determining that it's going to be. I'm going to have another nephew, but I secretly still hope that the baby's a girl. But anyway, so yeah, I'm just a little bit more upset about that, about the fact that I still can't go see them and spend time with them and visit, and I might not be able to be there for the birth because of my job. There's too much risk. But and then I can't take off work for a week or two for quarantine if I go to Virginia. But hopefully by next year we'll be able to go to a convention next year, and then I will get to see. Although the one thing about not going to the convention I am really sad about, that I'm trying not to dwell, is that there were some actors from The Magicians that I wanted to see. I was really excited that I got to see them because the show's now canceled. But well, I guess it ended. It did have an ending. But anyway, I am definitely disappointed that I won't get to see them. But again, it's not the end of the world. I can't change it. Just like, and I mean, and I get that Terry is, she is in a situation that's not as, she can't easily keep herself entertained, I feel like. So I get that. And I think that's why, she's like, because there's not a lot for her to do where she lives. So I definitely get why she's a little more upset than I am. And I feel bad. I wish I could do something, but I don't want to, forgive me for not wanting to risk either one of us getting sick. Yeah, maybe it wouldn't happen. But first of all, she has to fly here. So there's going to be a lot of germs. And, and then she'll have to quarantine herself probably, and she can't take off work. And I want to go to Virginia. Seeing my family is just as important, if not more important. To see meet my new niece or nephew and spend time with those boys, because I'm sure the new baby will get a lot of attention from the parents, and who knows if Harrison and Daniel might be a little jealous. So I want to be able to go visit and play with them and keep them entertained with, and my mom wants to too, so she's gonna have to be really careful and not be around me as much. And like, in fact, my uncle was talking about coming to visit, and my mom was like, okay, either maybe talk to him about him coming a different time, or I'm gonna stay at a hotel, because my mom wants to be able to go to spend time with my sister and help her take care of things, and if to be there when the baby's born. But even then, she doesn't know if she's gonna be able to go or not, because our numbers are growing again. In Florida, my mom's heard that Florida's not doing too well either. So hopefully, unfortunately, this is the only problem that we can't fix the other problem as easily, sadly. The only thing we can do is use our platform to heal the wounds of our other crisis, which is the whole Black Lives Matter movement, and how the Black community feels about how they are treated, which is like, they're human beings. They're not different from us. The only difference between them and us is their skin color. And we need to stop making them feel like they have to defend themselves, because they shouldn't have to. So and unfortunately that's a crisis that is not easily solved. And people may think that violence is the solution, but to me that's not the solution. And I know it's not easily, and we can't be like hold hands and sing kumbaya and everybody love each other. I know that is not, that's not going to happen either, but anyway, so the only thing we can do is use our platforms. So once again, I think I'm going to post the link, because I do have it bookmarked, the link to the Meditions, and once I upload this video, I'll probably put it on there, put it on here, so if you guys want to help out in that way, then you can do that, because, this crisis, unfortunately, is not going away as easily. Like I said, the whole pandemic, the whole virus, we can get rid of that more easily. With not easy, but you know what I mean, compared to the other stuff we're dealing with. So anyway, so that is what is going on when I read. These are the books I'm currently reading. I will focus on them. Hopefully I think I'll be able to get this done if I just read a lot in the next 24 hours. And because of the way it's written, I feel like it's easy for me to get through several chapters. That's why I like reading memoirs, because memoirs are so personal and so much easier to read than than a long biography or autobiography, which is what the Walt Disney book is, and what the John Adams book by David McCullough is. They're long biographies. Okay, so, if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, click subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want to be notified when I post new videos, click the bell notifications below, and, share what you're reading. I'd love to know if you're, and I will talk to y'all later. Alright, bye!